A ductless air conditioner is a regular air conditioner split into two pieces with the ductwork thrown out. You have probably seen the flat white box on somebody's wall cooling one room. That is the whole idea. Instead of one big unit pushing cold air through ducts to reach every room in the house, the cold gets made right there in the room that needs it. It also heats the house, which catches a lot of first-time owners off guard. The technical name is a mini split, and it never really makes cold air at all. What it does is move heat from one place to another. In the summer, it pulls the heat out of your room's air and dumps it outside, and the cool air is just what gets left behind. In the winter, it runs that same machine backwards and carries heat the other way from the outside air into your room. There are really only two parts you can see. One box hangs inside the room, usually high on the wall, sometimes in the ceiling or near the floor. That inside box is the air handler, and most people just call it the head. The other box sits outside, smaller and a lot quieter than a normal central air unit. Between them runs a thin bundle of copper lines and wire called a line set, through a hole about 3 inches wide. One outdoor unit can feed a single head or several heads spread across the house, so you can keep the bedroom cold and let the rest of the house stay warmer. Here's how it actually cools the room. The head pulls in the warm air and blows it across a cold coil. Inside is refrigerant that is colder than the air, so it soaks up the heat and the chilled air blows straight back into the room. The refrigerant travels outside through the line set, the outside unit squeezes it until it is hot, and a fan blows all that collected heat into the yard. Then it loops back inside, cold again, ready to grab more. Your room's heat gets carried outside and let go. What makes a modern mini split different from a window unit comes down to one part inside the outdoor box. A window unit or an older central system runs at full blast, hits your temperature, shuts all the way off, then slams back on minutes later. A mini split works differently. It has what is called an inverter compressor, which just means it speeds up and slows down like a gas pedal instead of an on-off switch. Most of the time it idles along on low, sipping power and holding the room steady. That is where the efficiency and the quiet both come from. It is also why bigger is not better here, which trips a lot of people up. Buy a unit that is too big for the room and it cools too fast, shuts off early, and never runs long enough to pull the moisture out of the air. You end up with a room that reads 72 degrees on the thermostat and still feels clammy. The size has to match the room. Now about that heating, since it is the thing people wonder about most. Yes, it heats, and plenty of folks run one for a full year before they even find the heat button. But whether it keeps heating when it gets genuinely cold outside depends on the exact model, not on mini splits in general. A basic unit fades in real cold. A cold climate or hyperheat model is built to keep cranking out heat well below freezing, and some are rated down to 15 or 20 degrees below zero. So if you get hard winters, that cold rating on the spec sheet is the number to check. Buy for your worst week, so why go ductless at all? There are two big reasons. The first is that ducts leak, and they waste a lot more energy than people expect. A regular ducted system can lose more than 30% of its heating and cooling through the ductwork, especially when it runs through a hot attic or a cold crawl space. With no ducts, none of that gets thrown away. The other reason is the classic one. Picture an older home with radiators and no ductwork anywhere, or a garage or an addition the central system never reached. Running new ducts there means tearing open ceilings and walls, and the cost balloons fast. A mini split skips all of it. One head on the wall, one small unit outside, one little hole, and it is usually done in a day. It is not free or perfect. Installed, a single room commonly runs a few $1,000s, and a whole house setup with several heads can climb past $10,000. The indoor units are visible, and the one inside needs occasional cleaning, or the coil and drain grow mildew and start to smell. And if your house already has solid ductwork and a working furnace and air conditioner, a mini split often is not worth it, since a straight replacement costs about the same. Where it really earns its keep is the house with no ducts, the room that is always too hot, or the space you are adding on. Underneath the wall box and the name, a ductless air conditioner is just a heat pump in two pieces, moving heat into or out of one room at a time with no ducts to waste energy on the way. Two things decide whether you end up happy with it: getting the size right for the room, and in a cold climate, getting a model rated for your winter. Those two, plus a note on keeping the head clean, are down in the description for you.